Hey everybody, this is Kathy Alexandra from Singdaptive, and I'm going live today to chat with a lovely, beautiful person and wonderful singer who's local to my hometown here in Victoria, Canada, and her name is Diane Pancel. So whoever's going to be joining us today, I think you're just in for a real treat. We're going to talk about kind of reflecting on our singing lives and what singing is to us, especially when we take a step back from whatever our singing life may be. Now, all of us around the world, in some ways, have had to take a step back from singing because so much of our singing spaces have been closed down recently. And whether we like it or not, we've all had to kind of slow down and, stop and think a little bit about maybe what singing means to us, and what it looks like going forward. And I'm really excited for you to hear from Diane. I can see she's coming on here. So Diane, I think you have to just request to join, or do I have to make you? Yeah, let's see. So yeah, I think Diane, do I join you or do you? Let's see. I can't get, oh, here we go. I know. Yes, here's the request. We're going to get Diane to join here in one sec. If I could just get my finger to push this button. Here we go. I think she's connecting now. Let's see. Did it work? It
Ta-da!
says connecting. Yay! Hi, Diane.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this. It means so much.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's such an honor to talk to you and hear, what you're going to share with us today and helping us to kind of get something out of this process in our singing lives.
Yes.
So I'm so excited to chat with you, Diane. So for those of you who are listening to us, this is Diane Pancel. She's been a professional singer for years in LA and here in our local BC, Canada. And we're going to be talking about kind of when you're forced to take a step back from your singing life and what that can mean to you. But before we get going, there's something very important that we have to do because it is Diane's birthday today.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Diane. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is my birthday today, so
Thank
you, everyone.
Happy birthday from Waveland24.
Thank you, Waveland24. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's my birthday.
Yay. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, and it just makes it feel all the more special to be chatting with you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's funny with everything going on, like in the world right now, it's just, I feel very torn. On one hand, I'm super blessed, like I'm feeling very grateful, but at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't be all woo woo. It's my birthday, but I just, I just think like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And just lead with gratitude and lead with kindness, and that's all we can do. It's
yeah. I think that's such an important message because a lot of us are scratching our heads or hanging our heads, just we don't know what to do, and but to be asking that question and to be open-minded and, like you say, kindness. And you're such a great example of that, Diane. You're just the most lovely person, the most lovely human. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for reminding us. We're definitely in strange times here.
Yes.
And often it's the arts that help us, process what's going on, and our role as singers, puts us in that position to really reflect and help others to reflect, right?
Yes, definitely. It really does.
So our topic today is, so many of us have had to have parts of our singing lives kind of shut down in the pandemic. But you had a time in your life where you, by choice, kind of chose to step back and kind of shut down things in your singing life. So I want to find out from you why you did that and what that meant for you and what came out of that. And hopefully singers who are listening to this can, take something away from that. So let's maybe start though by just giving us an idea, Diane, like tell us a little bit about your singing life and career and just kind of give us a little a quick sense of kind of what that's been for you and what a big part of your life it's been.
Oh, wow. That's such a great question.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
music, I think about it, and music has always been a part of my life. I've always been around music. I'd like to say it's sort of ingrained in my blood. My dad was an opera singer. And his mother, my grandmother, who sadly I never got to meet, but she was a theatrical actress and opera singer as well. And so it's just, and then of course that's the Hungarian side of my family. Then there's the Portuguese side, and so they're all very musical and artistic and involved in dance, and so it's definitely in my blood. But growing up, like it just all kinds of stuff. It started out at home. That's where it all started for me. And then, getting into school, singing into choir. And then I think it was in sort of grade 8 was the first time I vividly remember I got up and sang at the school talent show. And it was on my birthday. The talent show was on my birthday. And so I got up and I sang, I'm giving my age away now, but I got up and I sang Tiffany's version of Could Have Been. And nobody believed that I was singing, and got on the microphone. And then when I hit that high note just before it goes into the second chorus, of course, back then I had no sense of mic control and just had the mic there and kind of screamed, and everyone's like, oh, she really is singing. So it's kind of just progressed from there, and that's where it all sort of started. And then from there got into theater, and then got into voiceover work, all kinds of stuff. And then I'm in end of 2011, I made the decision to, I was going to try Los Angeles for 6 months, and it ended up turning out to be 2.5 years. And so I got some amazing opportunities. I wrote a one-woman show that you can see the poster behind me, Ladies of Hollywood, and a one-woman show that I performed throughout, California, LA, Palm Springs, Nevada, and was quite successful. And then I met my husband 2.5 years later, and then I made the decision to move back to Canada. So and then being back here, traveling back and forth and working down south and here. I haven't worked down in the States probably in the last 3-4 years. But yeah, just that's kind of my life in a nutshell. Music's always been a part of my life.
Wonderful. Oh, thanks,
Yeah,
Diane. That's so cool. I didn't know all of that, like
yeah,
about your family and stuff. That's so cool that it's just in your roots. And of course, as someone like many Canadians who have had some time living in the States over the years, of course, everything that's going on right now is closer to your heart because you lived there for a time and that you have friends and
yeah.
colleagues there. So
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to watch that on so many levels. It
mhm.
breaks my heart. And you're right, like things have to change. We've got to stand up. And I truly believe if we want change, it starts with us. It starts with the individual and spreads, we
Mm.
do our part to help. I get very emotional. I'm going to start crying, but
Oh,
it's good. Like, I think it's good. These are conversations we need to have, but also at the same time, like over the weekend, I spent most of my weekend like contacting my friends because
oh.
especially in Los Angeles, and LA is kind of like my second home.
Mm.
And the whole weekend I was just checking in on people just to make sure they were okay, and everyone is okay, thank
Mhm.
God. So I'm
Oh.
just like, I tell everybody, just if you
Mhm.
need to talk, you need anything, I'm here. Like I'm here to
Mhm.
listen.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think listening, we're two white people sitting here, and
right.
I think listening is the kind of really important thing. And sometimes it's awkward, and we say the wrong thing, or we don't know what we should do. But
Yeah,
I can see you have such a big heart for for people and for your loved ones who are facing this much closer down in the
yeah.
States. So thanks for saying that, Diane.
You're welcome.
It helps. We just all need to be keeping it on our minds and thinking and learning.
Yes,
And that's kind of
definitely.
what our topic, for today is. It's about trying to reflect and learn from something
Hmm.
that maybe could be considered as a negative, but positive came out of it. So let's go back to your journey now, Diane. And
Yes.
so some people have had to take a step back from the singing world because of the pandemic, but you made
Hmm.
a choice some time ago to step back.
Yes.
So tell us why did you do that? What led you to take a step back and stop your singing engagements when you did?
Well, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, I I just, something inside of me, to be completely honest, just something inside of me said enough was enough. And I just woke up one day and, a couple things had happened professionally that I just wasn't happy. And I thought, enough's enough. I need to take a step back. I didn't even think I need to take a step back. I was ready to quit. I'm like, you know
Wow.
what? I've done this at that time it was 28 years, almost 29 years. I'm like, I have been the yes girl. And what I mean by being the yes girl is as artists, sometimes we take on we're constantly saying yes because we don't want to get forgotten.
Mm,
Or you think, oh my gosh, if I don't take this job, people won't hire me.
hmm
And so you're constantly saying yes. And then half the, not, well, yeah, sometimes half the time you're doing jobs that you don't like the people. You're not truly fulfilled.
mm,
Um, and inspired as an artist and have a lot of times we do it for the paycheck, and
right.
and then it's not a positive experience, and you're not putting that positive energy out of your authentic self. And
Mm.
I just thought, you know what, that's it. I mic drop, that's it. I was done. I'm like, I'm out of here. And I'm very grateful. My husband sat down with me and he's like, no, you you really don't want to completely quit. Like, just take a step back and
Mm,
think, and be still with your thoughts. And that's exactly what I did. So I took a step back. I mean, I was still singing. Like, that's the thing.
mm.
Oddly enough, I was still doing my vocal exercises every day,
Oh, good for you.
but and I still did voiceover work. Like, if any of my friends called me to sing on their project, I
Hmm
never say no to that, because I love encouraging and helping my friends. And so,
mm
and then also I do a lot of work with the Health Art Society here in British Columbia. So we go into extended care homes, and we go perform for
mm
folks that are there and they can't get out. And
mm.
that is just so gratifying. So I was still in the loop, kind of, but the excitement of performance just wasn't there. I used
Wow.
to, like, I would sit and watch. I can do this again, but before, like, I would sit and watch my old favorite Broadway, or Hollywood MGM movies, and I wasn't excited, or my feet weren't tapping. It just,
Mm.
nothing thrilled me. And I actually had a whole bunch of work lined up that I ended up eventually backing out of, because, like I said, if I could not bring 110% of myself into
Mm.
that job, I feel like I would be letting down my colleagues. And so I
Mm.
took a step back. And yeah, that's what I did. And it's funny because, like everyone right now, with the pandemic, everyone having to be home and be still. Um, I thought about it the other day, and I thought, you know what? Everyone's going through this now. I went through this a year and a half ago, to just kind of be still with my thoughts and figure out, okay, what's the next step, Diane? So, yeah, it's really interesting.
It is, and I think that's why it's really neat for us to chat about this now. And it's amazing to that we heard you talk about what singing means to you and your parents, and just how it's always been this huge part of your life and who you are. And yet
Yeah,
you got to a point, like you say, because of saying yes to things where your heart maybe wasn't in it, where you were struggling because you felt like you weren't bringing your authentic self to that situation. That got you to a point, like, that just couldn't work for you. Someone as authentic as you, someone as passionate as you are about singing,
yeah.
that just didn't work for you, right? And
No,
so it's
no.
amazing that it pushed you to that point where you wanted to quit. Like,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, it's hard to imagine that someone like you could have got to that point. So would you say it was sort of a burnout situation?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I felt
Mm,
like I hit a wall, and I felt burnt out.
yeah.
And like you said, if I could not be authentic, I felt like a couple things I started to do, a couple projects I started, and
Mm,
you know which ones.
mhm,
And I felt like a phony. I felt
mm,
phony because every time I'd get in front of the camera to film things, I would start crying, and I'm like, this is not right. This is not the message. This is supposed to be joyful and happy and positive. And
mhm.
but then at the same time too, it brings up emotions and thoughts that you necessarily may have sort of pushed down,
Yeah.
suppressed. And it's been really nice. I mean, like, that time, like I look back now and I'm grateful.
Mm.
I'm grateful for that time.
And for people who are just joining us, I see we have Cindy and we have
Yes,
Trees of Stars on
Cindy.
tour.
Hi,
Hi.
Cindy.
So
Cindy is like my best friend of
yay.
like ever and ever and ever.
Uh-huh.
We've known each other since we were 10 years old. We were in she'd always say she was a band nerd in high school.
Oh,
Incredible saxophonist and songwriter.
wow.
Cindy, you need to start writing music again.
Yes,
But
yes.
yes. Hi, hon.
Well,
But
we're
yeah, she's great. It's
oh,
amazing.
well, it's great to have you all here with us. And I'm Kathy Alexander. I'm with Singdaptive, a online learning platform for singers, talking with Diane Pancel, professional singer of many years in LA and BC, Canada, and probably other places too. And we're just talking about, oh, shucks. um, we're just talking about when a time where Diane took a deliberate step back from her career and canceled things because of having gotten to a point of burnout. And we're just talking about when you don't feel authentic in your singing life. And singers, your singing life may be different than Diane's
Mhm.
singing life. You may be singing in a choir or singing at your church every Sunday. Whatever your singing life is for you, you have commitments, and that's all changed right now. A lot of that has all changed. So the next thing I guess is, so Diane, like, how did you come out of that? You were at a place of burnout, having
Yeah.
said yes, having not felt authentic in your singing work, felt like you couldn't say no to gigs. Um, and then you took a step back. You wanted to quit, but then you came through that and you learned something, and you've brought that. So let's share that with singers. Like, what did you learn and how did you come through?
Well, what I learned is that it's okay to step back. I think that was the
Mm,
end result for me, that it was okay. I needed that time to figure out me and figure out what was the next step. And during that time too, I focused on my family. I really got the chance to sort of focus, because so many years of, whether I'm being on the road or focusing on projects, it's like sometimes you can't give your 110% to that. And so this was a nice time to focus more on my stepdaughters.
mm,
And my dad's got Parkinson's, so I've been really hands-on with that. But it was actually what turned me around was my stepdaughters. They are, 17 and 13 years old, and they're both so artistic and so talented.
mm,
And hearing them, play music and sing, and my older stepdaughter, oh gosh, what was it? She was doing choir practice and auditioning for theater, and coming to me and being like, Diane, can you help me with this? And how do I prep? And then all of a sudden, it's like everything came full circle, seeing their excitement and
mm,
watching their joy and their authenticity come through in their own art reminded me of being 14, 15, 16 years old, locking myself in the basement, singing for hours and hours on end, and just finding that joy in the
mm,
music. It wasn't about everybody else, it was about me, and
mm,
finding me again. And it was at that point I thought, I, I, I think I'm getting the bug again.
mm.
And then I remember the night my husband was cooking dinner, and I went up to him and I said, I think it's time. And he's like, time for what? And I said, time to do a show. And so, and
Yay.
I know she's not watching, but Ashley Way, a local Victoria musician, incredible human being. And we've been friends for like 15, 20 years now. And out of nowhere, it's like the universe was talking to me. And within 2 days, I get this random phone call from her, and we're on the phone for about half an hour. And she's like, you know what, Diane? I want artists like you back at Herman's Jazz Club. And for those of you that may not be from Victoria, Herman's is pretty much one of the last standing, clubs in Victoria for live music. And what I love what they're doing now is it's not just jazz, it's all genres of music that they're bringing in. And it's a great stage for artists to, do what they do. And when she approached me, I said, well, actually, you know what, Ashley? And then next thing I know, I put together my Christmas show, Oh Soli Night, which was like full house, and Kathy was there,
I
and
was there.
Kevin
It
was,
was awesome.
so yeah, and you guys were front and center, and that was the first night that I actually opened up about everything.
Hmm.
And of course it was like the prelude to the Portuguese song that I sang for and dedicated to my stepdaughters. So yeah, so that's kind of it, and I've just found this new love and this new passion, and I'm like just revved up and ready to go. So yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful that, like it has a happy ending, and that you came through that time of wanting to quit something that meant so much to you, and yet you were
Hmm.
pushed to a point where you wanted to quit, and now you reconnected with that joy. And so,
Yeah.
so why do you think it's so important for singers to stay connected to that authenticity and to that joy?
Because that's I feel what shows who we are. It doesn't
Mm,
matter if you are a professional, like you were saying earlier, like what you and I do is different from what someone else does. And maybe somebody doesn't want to be a huge superstar singer. They just want to sing, whether they're singing in church, they're singing praise to the Lord, or they're singing to mass audiences. I believe it's important to keep that authenticity. That's what helps us connect. And
mhm.
I think that's so important.
And like you said, you got to a place of burnout, so it must have just sapped your energy when you weren't being authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
Yeah, and I can really imagine that, right? It takes a lot of effort to be someone that you're not.
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
takes a lot of work.
It's like you're acting 24/7, and it's exhausting. So,
Mm,
and I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always been myself. I
mm,
just want to clarify that.
yeah.
What I want people to know, every time you see me on stage,
Mm,
what you see is what you get. Like
mm,
what I am on stage is what I am off stage. I'm silly, I'm quirky, I'm goofy, and I own it. And but at the same time, it's just sometimes, like I said, you just hit a wall, and it's okay to take a step back. There's nothing wrong with it. You always hear so many stories of, oh, if you step out of the limelight, they're going to forget about you. And
mm,
I truly believe that because I've done it, it's not true. If
mm,
if you're authentic, if you're true, if you create great content and people connect, you
mm,
will people will come.
mm. What a great message. I mean, I sometimes think a lot of us as singers, we look at other singers that have inspired
Mhm.
us,
Yeah.
and we think maybe I should be like that person. And I think it's okay to get inspiration from other people and
Oh,
emulate
yeah.
other people. That can be part of learning, of course. But I think what I hear you saying is that there has to be authenticity. Ultimately, you have to be you.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I think of all the artists that have influenced me, and I hear it sometimes too in my own voice, a little vocal lick. I'm like, oh my goodness, you can tell I listen to a lot of Patsy Cline. Or, I'll sing a pop tune, and the way I phrase a word. And I think to myself, oh, I listened to a lot of Whitney Houston back in the late 80s, early 90s. So
Mm,
it's like, yeah, you do. You're going to get influence from everywhere and inspired, but you're right, the authentic you is what needs to come through. So
And so, I mean, how now that when you go forward and you're looking at projects in the future that you're going to do and recent ones that you've just done, um, what would you say you're using as your guide, whether you say yes or no to a certain project, now that you've reconnected with your joy and your authentic reason for singing? How do you know, is this the right project?
I think, power of association, that is so important, and the message I want to put out. I think after being in the business for so many years, from here on out, and I mean, I said this when I was 15, and now that I found the love again, I will sing till the day I die. And
Oh,
I hope that's like many, 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 many years from now. But it's like when I'm too old to stand on a stage and people don't want to see me, as long as this instrument stays good,
mm,
I could be like Mel Torme and Tony Bennett and sing into my 80s and 90s, and I can still sing in a studio. So I
mm,
think that's the thing is, what's the message? What's the message? Is it that you want to put out to the world? So,
mm.
yeah.
Well, and the world is lucky to have you sharing who you are and your singing voice, because I mean, I've been there. I love hearing you sing and being at your concerts. I love the energy and the creativity, and just it's so awesome, and it blesses the world that you've come back to the singing life. We're all very glad to have you and to hear
Aw,
you.
thank you. Thank you so much. I
Well, and
appreciate
so
it.
I see Greg's just joined, and for anyone else who's joined,
Hi,
I'm
Greg.
hi, I'm Kathy from Singdaptive, talking to Diane Pancel, wonderful vocalist, and we're talking about kind of authenticity, really, in your singing life, and really staying connected to who you are as a singer, and how it can sometimes wear you out if you lose that connection.
Mhm.
So Diane, it's been so great to hear your journey. Um, is there any last things you want to share that maybe I forgot to ask you along these lines, or just anything you want to say to singers before we wrap up?
Um, oh gosh, there's so much I could say to singers. I just say, you know what? Just if you lose, if the spark's not there, if the love's not, this is okay. I'm going to tell you guys what my dad used to say to me.
Okay.
If the love's not there, stay back or step back.
Hmm.
And it's funny that my dad said that to me years ago. Because fun fact about me, I used to be a competitive figure skater. And I left the world of figure skating at around 14, almost 14, 13, 14 years old, because I found this passion and this drive and love for music.
Hmm.
Not really that I found it, it was always there, but I
Hmm.
just thought I knew I had a shelf life as a skater. And, but then the love, like my passion and my drive as a figure skater was gone. And I
Hmm.
remember as a 14-year-old kid sitting down with my dad and having this real heart to heart talk, because I knew the thousands of dollars they had, invested in me, and the sacrifices my parents made to make sure that I had the best skates and the best coaches, and my parents were so supportive. But I remember that conversation with my dad, and my dad said, if the love's not there, like, don't don't do it. Take a step back. And
Hmm.
so, but at the same time, just have fun, be yourselves, sing loud, be true to yourself. Be true
Hmm.
to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the message. And sometimes, I mean, it seems repetitive, but we can forget it so easily, right? So we need to
Yeah.
keep reminding ourselves of that. We have to be true to ourselves. And so for so many singers in this pandemic time, we've had to cancel things, and we're
Oh
trying
yeah.
online things, and we're trying to be still true to ourselves, even in these new circumstances. So
Yes.
it's great to hear that you found a path for doing that. And now, I think we were saying this the other day, like you've come into this pandemic equipped more because you've been through it already, right?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like okay, and it's funny. I've talked to so many musicians, and singer friends, and just having these heart to heart conversations. Especially, like myself, I had many gigs throughout this year till the end of this year, and I was actually planning on doing a show later this year in Palm Springs. And thank goodness I hadn't applied for visas and all that stuff yet.
Yeah.
But it was like everything's been canceled.
Mm.
And talking to other singers, and they've all said that, interesting enough, they've all said that when this is over and we get back to normal, whatever normal is, or will be, that they're really going to think twice as to what kinds of work they'll be taking.
Mm.
A lot of them said they don't want to be, as I said, the yes girl. They
Mm.
found they were doing that themselves. So it was really nice to have these really engaging, in-depth conversations with other artists, and it's nice to hear. It's
Yeah.
really nice to
Yeah.
hear.
It's nice to be able to connect and know that we're going through the same thing, and that we can support each other, and share what we've learned.
Yeah.
Well, Diane, thank you so much for
Thank
coming and
you.
chatting with us. It's so encouraging and so inspiring to chat with you, because, your passion for singing is just so clear, and, it's so authentic. And I love when I get to hear you sing. So I'm so glad that,
Ah,
that you're back in the world of singing after your kind of time of stepping back, and that you have reconnected with that joy, because it's such a bright light when you're up on stage, and people respond to it so well. So,
Oh my goodness, you make me blush. Thank you. Thank you so
so
much.
thank you, Diane Pancel, the amazing vocalist, and um, she's been chatting with us today here with Singdaptive, the online learning
Mhm.
platform for singers, where we have a whole team of instructors to help you with resources for your singing goals. So,
Yes.
and you're here, says Cindy. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Cindy.
All right, Diane. So I know you've got to go to a very exciting appointment now.
I'm getting my hair done because as you guys can
Woo!
see, I still have, yeah, quarantine hair going on. And anybody that knows me knows I cut my hair quite short. So, and I've gone a lot darker. So it's, yeah, so we're just going to switch it up and have some fun. So,
There you go. Well,
yeah,
enjoy that haircut. And like we said
thank you.
earlier in the call, we're in a space in history right now with everything that's going on. Of course, we're mindful and like you said, Diane, right at the beginning, you said it just makes us so grateful for where we are and what we have, and to
Yes,
let's leave on that note of gratitude and like you said, kindness. Just starts
absolutely.
with us. So yeah, so many
Yes.
nice messages today, Diane. Thank you so much.
Oh,
And
you're
until
welcome.
next time.
Until next time, you guys all take care and stay safe.
Yeah, awesome. Stay safe, everyone. Bye, Diane.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.